My name is Melody. I'm 26. People say childhood memories shape who you are. If that's true, then I was shaped by cruelty, and by a sister who was born with a golden crown, while I was cast in the shadows. But on my wedding day, I buried the golden child, and walked away smiling. I spent my entire life living under the suffocating weight of my parents' obsession with their golden child, my older sister, Sabrina. It wasn't subtle favoritism, it was blatant, brutal, and soul-crushing. Whenever Sabrina pointed her finger at me, I was punished, without questions, without evidence. But when I dared to accuse her, even with undeniable proof, she got away with a slap on the wrist. Sometimes, I got punished too. Birthdays weren't mine. My birthday cake? Always her favorite flavor. They'd grin and say they forgot I didn't like it. Vacations? Shopping trips? Holidays? Always where she wanted to go. Always what she wanted to do. I was just there, ghost living in her kingdom. And Sabrina loved it. At first, she mostly ignored me. But by the time we hit our teenage years, everything got worse. Sabrina wasn't just cruel anymore. She became obsessed. She lost her friends, either they moved or ditched her because of her toxic personality. And when she saw that I * was becoming popular at school, she turned vicious. Suddenly, I wasn't just her ignored punching bag, I was a threat to her twisted little world. She started making up wild stories about me and my friends, accusing us of drinking, stealing, anything she could think of. And my parents? Oh, they believed her. Every single time. Soon, I wasn't allowed to have friends over. They locked me in with lines like, *, why can't you be like your sister and enjoy family time? Or, *, she just wants to protect you from bad influences. I would have been completely isolated if not for one saving grace, my extended family. Unlike my parents, my aunts, uncles, and cousins weren't blind. At one family gathering, I let it slip, innocently, childishly, that I wasn't allowed to have friends because Sabrina had none. Apparently, that sparked hellfire behind closed doors. My parents were ripped apart * by the adults in the family. I got grounded for a month for lying. But after that, I finally had some freedom. Small victories. Humiliated, Sabrina switched schools. It cost my parents a fortune, but they didn't care. Anything for their little queen. But even after making new friends, she kept coming after me. Now she had minions *, her new friends who would visit and torment me, right under my parents' noses. They'd call it harmless teasing. But it wasn't. I stopped bringing people home entirely. Meanwhile, Sabrina's cruelty evolved. She started targeting my dating life. First, she tried to seduce my boyfriend, slipping into skimpy clothes, whispering about how much better she was than me. When he rejected her and told me everything, Sabrina spun a new lie, accusing him of hitting on her. Of course, my parents believed her. They forbade me from seeing him again. That relationship died fast. It happened again with another boyfriend. Same trick, same lies, same outcome. And my parents? They doubled down. * Why do you always pick such bad men? * Why can't you be more like Sabrina? I became the outcast. Sabrina? She was still queen. They celebrated every B grade she got, while my A's were ignored because they were expected. She got the spending money, the curfew, the freedom. Me? Chains. When Sabrina went off to college, I was relieved. But of course, she came home every other weekend, and every time, something in my room would go missing. One day, my mum sat me down. Her words still burn. * Since we're paying for Sabrina's college, there's nothing left for you. You should start working after graduation. Maybe we can help you later, if Sabrina's done by then. Oh, and they expected me to pay rent if I stayed home. I didn't cry, I didn't argue, I just smiled, and said, okay, What they didn't know was that I had been preparing for this moment my entire life. While Sabrina partied and played, I studied, because I knew it was my only ticket out. And sure enough, I won a full scholarship. I blasted the news on social media before I told them, publicly thanking them for supporting me. They couldn't stop me now. They tried. Oh, they tried. They even warned me, if Sabrina can't handle college, what makes you think you can? But I went anyway, and for the first time, I was free. College was everything I dreamed of. Far away from home, I thrived. I met a man who changed my life. A man who didn't just fight back he lived for revenge. My husband, he's the type who can smile to your face while plotting your downfall. And together, we were about to burn my parents' kingdom to the ground. When we announced our engagement, my parents pulled their usual tricks, demanding to meet him, pushing for control. But this time, I had him. He went to meet them, alone, but not before tucking a hidden recorder in his jacket. When he came back, his eyes were practically glowing. "Babe," he said, grinning ear to ear, "you won't believe what they just tried to pull. They offered to pay for our wedding, on one condition. Sabrina would walk down the aisle. First, in her wedding dress. At my wedding, they called it a fair compromise, so she wouldn't feel left out. My husband? He played along. He told them he'd convince me. He even made them promise not to put anything in writing, claiming I was paranoid and controlling. They fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. For months, my husband visited them in secret, spinning lies to earn their trust. He, reluctantly, agreed to let Sabrina walk down the aisle. Meanwhile, he pushed them to cover the most expensive wedding options: venue, catering, flowers, photographer. All while pretending we were sacrificing. Behind the scenes, Sabrina threw tantrums, demanding everything be about her. My parents happily paid every time. And Sabrina? She was giddy with excitement, already planning her photo shoot in her dress at my venue. But here's the twist. We also hired private security, without telling anyone. On the wedding day, Sabrina arrived in her knockoff wedding dress, ready to steal the spotlight. But as soon as she approached the doors, security stopped her. She screamed, she kicked, she demanded to be let in. But we had given them everything: photos, recordings, documents. She was banned. My husband even made sure the venue staff shamed her publicly, announcing loudly that she had been caught trying to crash a wedding. Inside, I walked down the aisle, alone, radiant, powerful, while Sabrina sobbed outside in her dress. My parents? They couldn't leave without losing face. They sat there, trapped, forced to watch me marry the man who had outplayed them all. After the wedding, we leaked everything. Recordings, photos, proof. Our extended family was disgusted. Sabrina became a local joke, forever remembered as the desperate sister who tried to hijack a wedding. My parents' reputation? Shattered. They lost everything they valued: status, control, power. I haven't spoken to them since. And I don't plan to. They raised me to be small. They raised me to stay quiet. But on that day, I finally became their worst nightmare. The girl they ignored. Zero. The girl they tried to break. The girl who walked away smiling, while their golden child cried outside in the rain.